Going on a safari in Africa is that incredible experience everyone dreams of having at least once in a lifetime. But not everything always goes perfectly. There are situations that go wrong and turn into real confusions between unexpected encounters and moments nobody forgets. And that is exactly what you are going to see here today. So go ahead and drop your like, click the subscribe button down below, and let's go! A group of tourists and photographers was following a hippopotamus from a distance during a car ride in a safari area. Everything seemed calm until the animal, all of a sudden, began to approach at an accelerating pace. What seemed like just a change of direction quickly turned into a real chase. The hippopotamus started running after the vehicle with impressive speed, which left everyone in shock. The driver, realizing the danger, had no choice but to speed up, and even though the car was moving, the hippopotamus kept up with ease, which surprised those on board.
Oh my!
I know.
Oh my God! Oh shit! Oh my God!
For many people, the hippopotamus is still seen as a docile and slow creature, but this kind of situation proves the opposite. In the wild, it is one of the most dangerous animals on the African continent and can become extremely aggressive, especially when it feels threatened or wants to protect its territory. The scene ended with no one injured, but with a scare the tourists will probably not forget. The footage even shows the desperation of those who were in the car, including screams and nervous movement, which reinforces how much the situation could have ended differently. A safari ride in South Africa almost ended in tragedy when a wild elephant attacked a tourist truck inside Pilanesberg National Park. The tense moment was recorded on video and quickly went viral. The images show the elephant lifting the vehicle forcefully, not once, but twice, almost flipping it over completely. Inside, the tourist ducked between the seats, clearly terrified at the possibility of the animal causing a fatal accident. The driver tried to keep control, pounding hard on the door and trying to convince the animal to back off, something that, according to experts, was the most correct attitude to take. Male elephants can be unpredictable, especially during periods of more aggressive behavior, and are known for testing limits. Fortunately, after a few minutes of tension, the elephant lost interest and moved away, and nobody was injured. Still, the scene serves as a warning. Even on guided and seemingly safe rides, wildlife can surprise you, and as much as some criticize the driver's reaction, experts guarantee that fleeing could have been even more dangerous, since the ideal is to hold your position and make noise to try to deter the animal. During an expedition through the dense jungle of Rwanda, a group of tourists and adventurers lived through one of the most striking and frightening encounters of their lives. While exploring the region under the guidance of local guides, the group was surprised by a huge mountain gorilla that appeared among the vegetation just a few meters away. Silence was immediate, and the guide quickly instructed everyone to crouch, keep their heads down, and avoid any eye contact with the animal, something that could be interpreted as a challenge. Nobody moved, and the tension was palpable. The gorilla, imposing and curious, observed the group for a few seconds that felt eternal, but soon decided to calmly continue on its way, disappearing into the forest as if nothing had happened and without trying anything with anyone. Only then did the tourists breathe in relief again. Although it seemed like a moment of pure risk, experts explain that this kind of reaction, lowering your head and not staring at the gorilla, is essential to demonstrate respect and submission, which usually avoids conflicts. In the end, the group left unscathed and with an unforgettable story to tell, showing that, in nature, the animals make the rules. During a safari in Africa, a tourist ended up with quite a scare when trying to make friends with the wrong animal. Inside the car, he was just a few centimeters from an imposing lion that was resting next to a lioness. Most people would take the moment to watch with respect and take photos from a safe distance. But one of the tourists, perhaps too confident with the animal's calmness, decided to stick his arm out the window and pet the lion as if he were stroking a house cat. The lion, which until then seemed relaxed, slowly turned its head and gave a look that would freeze anyone. In seconds, it let out a loud and threatening roar, making the tourists immediately back away and close the car window.
Close the window.
gosh, window.
I think it is important to remember that these wild animals are not pets. So if you go on a safari, just admire them from a safe distance and do not try to touch or pet them. A woman thought it would be fun to feed a zebra that was approaching the window. The animal seemed calm, which gave the impression there was no danger at all. Suddenly, the zebra lunged and sank its teeth into her with no delicacy whatsoever. The scare was immediate, but fortunately it was nothing serious, though the emotional impact was clear, leaving the tourist visibly shaken. Feeding wild animals, no matter how harmless they may seem, is always a risk. Even creatures that appear calm can act on instinct, and this type of interaction should never be encouraged. In the end, the zebra went on its way as if nothing had happened, but the woman will certainly never look at these animals the same way again. During a safari in an open car, a group of tourists went through one of those experiences no one expects to face when heading out to observe wildlife. Everything seemed calm until a giraffe, apparently annoyed by the presence of the vehicle in its territory, began to approach aggressively. Contrary to the peaceful image many have of these animals, the giraffe showed no curiosity or friendliness. It clearly did not want anyone nearby. In a matter of seconds, it began to run after the car, making the driver accelerate to avoid any confrontation. The animal's height and speed scared everyone, especially because it kept an impressive pace and seemed determined to drive the visitors away. Although no one was injured, the mood inside the car changed completely. What was supposed to be a peaceful ride turned into an unexpected escape. While driving through Jim Corbett National Park, a group of tourists had an experience that nearly turned into a nightmare. The route was going normally until suddenly a huge tiger appeared in the middle of the dirt road, completely blocking the vehicle's path. Silence took over the car, and the tension was almost palpable. No one knew exactly how to react, and every move seemed too risky. The feline, with its piercing gaze and calculated steps, began to slowly approach the car, leaving the tourists paralyzed. One of the women, visibly in panic, almost broke down at seeing the animal so close, fearing any noise or gesture could provoke a reaction. The scene dragged on for long seconds that felt like an eternity. On a car ride, a man decided to feed a deer that came up to the window. He held out his hand with the food, and the animal seemed calm, accepting the gesture without resistance. But suddenly, the deer tossed its head toward the man, causing a huge scare. The reaction was immediate. He jerked back, surprised by the animal's movement. In the passenger seat, a woman who was watching burst out laughing at the scare, as if the deer were playing or had gotten irritated with something. The situation, though unexpected, was nothing more than a curious moment and served as a reminder that even when they seem tame, wild animals can surprise you at any time. In Haldapara, in India, tourists went through moments of pure desperation when two rhinoceroses charged toward the vehicles they were in. In the images, you can see two cars stopped at the side of the road when, suddenly, the animals begin to approach at high speed. The drivers tried to back up, but one of the rhinoceroses rammed one of the jeeps, which ended up losing control and tipping onto its side, with the occupants inside. The case went viral on the internet and reignited the discussion on social networks about how these safaris are conducted. Many internet users criticize the recklessness of the drivers and also of the visitors, who tend to get too close to the animals in search of photos and forget they are wild in their natural habitats. In the end, the scare serves as a clear lesson that nature must be respected, and that even during a tourist ride, a rhinoceros will not think twice before showing who rules the territory. There are safaris that put tourists in open cars, almost like an invitation for the animal to choose a snack. Others do not give danger a chance, and thank goodness this group was in the second type. Inside a bus surrounded by reinforced bars, the tourists were continuing the ride when they were surprised by three tigers that approached in an unsettling way. The felines appeared and with scary calm began to circle the vehicle as if they were evaluating what was on the menu. The three even touched the bars, but without posing any danger. Many filmed the scene, but others could not take their eyes off what was happening. It was hard to tell whether the tigers were just curious or really suspicious of that mobile cage. The proximity was such that you could see every detail of the animals. There are safaris that make you feel part of nature, and there are safaris that remind you that you stand no chance against it. That is exactly what happened to a group of tourists traveling through the region near Kruger National Park in South Africa, inside a vehicle accompanied by an experienced guide. During the search for a herd of 22 elephants, the tension was already visible, but everything got even more intense when a male elephant, out of nowhere, began to advance threateningly toward the car. The animal approached with aggression, and for a few seconds it seemed the attack would be inevitable. Despite the scare, the guide managed to keep control of the situation and drove the elephant away with gestures and a steady voice alone.
Relax. What's wrong with you?
It was a moment that combined despair and admiration. After all, seeing such an imposing animal up close is something rare, but also risky. The encounter ended with no one injured, but the memory remained. On the savannah, a single wrong move can turn the adventure into a test of nerve. During a car ride through a safari, a group of tourists had one of those experiences that are as tense as they are unforgettable. They were admiring the animals from a distance when a lion, apparently calm, began to approach the vehicle and soon decided to follow the car. The driver tried to leave discreetly, but the lion did not give up. In a few seconds, it leapt and placed its front paws on the front of the vehicle, leaving everyone in shock. Nobody was injured, but nerves were shredded, and the video, of course, ended up on the internet as another example that a safari is not an amusement park ride. During a trip along a dirt road, a man came across a huge anaconda crossing the path. The scene caught the attention of other people who were also passing by, and soon some cars stopped to watch and film the animal. But what began as a simple, curious record turned into a tense situation. The snake, visibly annoyed, reacted aggressively and even attacked one of the vehicles. Shortly after, another car tried to pass, but the anaconda again showed fury, moving quickly and charging once more. The animal's reaction made it clear that this was not a peaceful encounter, and that even inside a car, the spectators were far from safe. Seeing an anaconda up close would already be remarkable. Now, seeing one attacking cars with aggression is the kind of situation that hardly leaves the memory of those who were there. A group of tourists was on a safari through the forest, taking the opportunity to capture beautiful photos of the surrounding nature when something totally unexpected happened. While they enjoyed the scenery and the tranquility of the environment, a tiger suddenly appeared, lunging toward the vehicle. The scare was immediate, catching everyone completely off guard. The animal's closeness and speed left the passengers tense and frightened with no time to react. The tiger showed itself to be quite aggressive, and the atmosphere of peace was quickly replaced by pure adrenaline and fear. The feline flashed one of those wild grins, an intimidating and threatening expression that no one would like to witness so close. Luckily, after that tense moment, the tiger turned and disappeared into the forest, leaving without injuring anyone. Some safaris offer the interactive option of feeding certain animals directly from the car, providing a closer experience with wildlife. During one of these rides, a tourist decided to take the opportunity and went to feed an ostrich that came up to the vehicle. However, the situation did not go as expected. The moment she reached out to offer food, the ostrich bit her unexpectedly. Despite the scare, the ostrich simply went away, showing no concern or gratitude for the woman who had the goodwill to give it a snack. How ungrateful it was. Many times on a safari, being at the base of the camp does not mean you are completely safe from wild animals, and a group of tourists found that out in the most unusual way possible. While everyone enjoyed a calm outdoor breakfast, two elephants suddenly appeared and invaded the area. One was a huge adult and the other a curious calf. Without hesitation, the two approached the tables and began devouring the food intended for the visitors, as if they too had made a reservation for the buffet. The mood, which had been relaxed, turned into a mix of tension and caution. Nobody stood up, nobody screamed. The tourists kept calm and avoided staring directly at the animals, since that could be interpreted as threatening behavior. Despite the size and the awe-inspiring strength, the elephants just seemed hungry and, fortunately, did not show aggression. After eating their fill, they simply turned around and left, as if nothing had happened. It was an unexpected moment that mixed fright and admiration, but in the end, everything turned out fine. During a safari, most people expect to see animals from afar, or at most, very close, while protected inside the car. But for a group of tourists, that feeling of safety went down the drain in a matter of seconds. They were inside a vehicle watching some lionesses up close, admiring the animal's grandeur, when one of them did something completely unexpected. With an eerie calm, one of the lionesses approached the car door and, using her mouth, simply pulled the handle and opened the door. The scare was immediate.
I know. You're supposed to lock the door.
Screams took over the vehicle as everyone panicked at a scene that looked like it had come out of a nightmare. Fortunately, one of the tourists sitting near the door reacted quickly and managed to close it before the lioness actually came in. The animal luckily did not insist. Although no one was hurt, the episode made it clear that even inside the car, you need to keep every precaution. After all, on a safari, you are in the animal's territory, and any carelessness can turn into one of those big scares. One thing is certain, feeding wild animals during a safari can yield scenes as cute as they are chaotic, and that is exactly what happened with a family that only wanted to live a peaceful moment with nature. The protagonist of the story was a little boy with a simple but brave mission to give food to a giraffe. He already had the bowl in his hands, ready to deliver the meal to the owner of the savannah's most famous neck, when the giraffe got a little too excited and without ceremony stuck its head through the car window, going straight to the point. The little boy froze in surprise, but the chaos did not stop there. At the exact moment they tried to control the situation on one side, a zebra took advantage of the opening on the other and also stuck its head through the opposite window, baring its teeth in a grin that might have been cute to those watching, but was definitely scary for the child. The person filming could not help it and burst out laughing, but the little boy, poor thing, did not find it funny at all. He became desperate and began to cry because of the strong scare that he suffered. In the end, no one was hurt, but the family learned that even the calmest moments of a safari can turn into a mess in seconds when the animals decide to take control of the snack. Do not forget to subscribe to watch more videos like this.